right. Hello, everyone. I hope we can. I hope we can do the panel that exciting, like the music promises it to be. So, honored to be here on the final panel, and yeah, great event. Thanks for hosting, Lido. And yeah, I guess as usual, we can start with a few intros. So I'm going to be the moderator tonight. I'm Felix. I'm the head of ecosystem at Symbiotic. Konstantin Lomashuk also is at Symbiotic, apparently. According to the last panel, I saw a screenshot of him with a title that was like a mix-up. But we actually have some esteemed panelists here. So maybe Vasily, you can start introducing yourself if people don't know you yet.
I'm Vasily. I'm co-founder of Lido, now on research in Lido. And I'm happy to talk to you about the rise of StakeFi.
Yes, I'm Mick the Graaf. I go by the title Artist in Residence at Euler Finance, which is a lending protocol. And I focus on protocol development, protocol design, those types of things.
Hello, my name is Mikhail, and I am co-founder and CTO of Gearbox protocol. And as you know, during this points money and staking, which happened this spring, we were maybe like #1 of attracting people and moving them into staking. So really happy to talk what we can do next.
And I'm Nick. I'm a co-founder at Mellow protocol, and is the system for issuing LRTs with different curators and risk profiles. We work closely with Symbiotic. We're part of Lido Alliance, and happy to be here.
Awesome. Yeah. So the title of our panel is the rise of StakeFi. So we want to talk a little bit about basically like LSTs and DeFi and the interactions there. So I guess I thought it was fitting to basically just start from the point of, what are some of the core use cases of LSTs in DeFi. Maybe someone can like lay out the land, what people are currently doing with their LSTs, and then I would also love to hear from you guys what you're like excited about in that realm. Like, whoever want to start.
So what was this question?
The question is basically like what are some of the core use cases of LSTs in DeFi?
Oh yeah, so I think like the main use case we see right now is people looping them. And it's questionable if it's like actually a use case. It's more like a strategy of trading. But in general, like the main use case I think which is very interesting is like unlocking this economic bandwidth of ETH itself. So you can secure all sorts of protocols, like we've seen with like stuff like EigenLayer and such, where you can use it in your protocol to secure it basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and in my perception, I think we have a pretty good layer structure. So at the first layer, at the bottom, we have something like computations we want to verify. Then on the second layer, we have LST, LRT, and different staking derivatives. But still, we want have something to help users to come into such kind of assets. And then when we have a DeFi and protocol, lending protocol like Gearbox, it's create a very cool thing. So literally, users come to Gearbox, they provide money. Then the people who are active players really choose which LST or LRT perform better, maybe generate more yield, etc. And it's really create a very good real market, how we can choose and deliver all this value to prove the computation. So I think it's another layer which is understandable. You should not be PhD in math to not to be and check everything 24/7. You just go to DeFi, you put your money from the passive side, and you can also earn of big growth of the whole ecosystem.
And also, like until recent time, one of the main use cases was about the leverage. But right now, one of the growing use cases, it's the LRTs and restaking itself, because it's very natural to use LSTs for restaking, and like LSTs already participate in validation. And in this case, it's something that can bring more yield to the users for validation of other networks and other shared security networks. And at the same time, it's something that helps to secure different mechanisms, not only chains, it can be oracles, it can be interoperability systems. So it's the new use case that can bring more yield and that can bring more security.
Yeah, on my side, like I can say that #1 use case for staking is DeFi staking, because staking is DeFi. So all the StakeFi is a fraction of staking, like big fraction, but fraction nonetheless. And the second most important one is leverage in all its form, because restaking is also leverage. You like reuse the same collateral to get more risks and returns, and it's also like a form of leverage. The third one, and like they kind of like switch around a bit depending on the market, I think, is leverage. Like the previous one was leverage of staking rate versus staking rewards versus like some other kind of rewards, or restaking rewards versus some other kind of rewards. But there is also leverage of like either bulling or being either bull, or like borrowing stable coins and buying more either. And this is also a major use case. Like Maker has like a ton of staked Ether just for that purpose. Like when people just want to be bullish on Ether in all ways possible, by getting more rewards, by like validating network, getting more rewards, getting like more Ether on leverage looping. This is also a major one. There is a number, I think, of like less important ones, or like less bigger at least, like trading. Maybe like just loans against staked Ether to spend them on some living stuff or something, but it's less pronounced.
All right, and do you see any like new thing emerging, or anything that you're worried or excited about currently in this market? I guess we mentioned restaking already, but like any cool new thing you would like to highlight?
But I think I have maybe like a sub-question to Vasily. What do you think about could DeFi and all stuff? So we have a lot of different people who control layer by layer, help to grow the quantity of solo stakers. So literally just imagine you decide to become validator, yeah? So, and you do your job very well. At this case, it looks like maybe people could stake more, trust you more, and we all together could help you grow the business here. So as some kind of goal in the system to have more and decentralized way. How we can help this?
I think that like the most straightforward and clear way and like simple way to do this is to stake like yourself, or like not the easiest probably to stake yourself, but like the most straightforward, right? And like being a solo staker. And the second one is to stake with a protocol that puts more stake to solo stakers. There are a few on the market, including Lido. That's more simple way. Like anything other than that, like is much more complex. Like trying to make, like for example, Navy assets that are easy to run for solo stakers, but like none of the active validated sets are like very easy to run, like that easy to run, especially if you need to run multiple to meaningfully improve your. But on side of project, I think like things like airdrops and like access lists and stuff like that for identified solo stakers are also like a big part of like social construct. Like you solo stake, you get preferential treatment by the ecosystem. It's fine. Like it's something that could be pretty cool social dynamic to have. Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah.
So if I understood correctly, there is like a funnel when people could provide money into DeFi, like to leverage. Then protocol like Gearbox provide into Lido, and then Lido support different solo stakers and increase and simplify the way how you can really join as validator and make the system more decentralized. Yes?
Yeah, that's like what's happening, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, maybe one big thing there, I guess, is also around liquidity, fragmentation, or concentration. Like obviously Lido did like a big choice to just have STETH as the ticker is STETH, I guess, where you know, all the different staking router modules are under STETH, and now also with Vaults, we still, you know, are united in, like it's united in the STETH. Like, can you maybe talk a bit about, you know, this challenge of fragmenting liquidity and how you're thinking about that, how LSD should approach that, and kind of what are the downsides of doing that?
I think like it's very nice that like all this infrastructure is getting more or less like commoditized. So like everyone can build like very diverse projects on top. But we end up in the situation where it's very, very fragmented. And like a lot of the users, they will go to whatever thing is the highest yielding one. And there's like no real way to properly assess risk within the system. And also we face like similar issues on Euler, because like anyone can create any market, but you end up in a very fragmented situation. And but I think like at some point it will start consolidating again. Like it's nice, like there's this openness to build all these different products, but I think in the end we will have like a few major ones, and not like this landscape with like thousands of LRTs.
Yeah, Nick, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think like it's probably a part of discussion about the moat in crypto, because like I don't think that's like I think it's a very rare case when you can have the moat only from technical perspective. And the biggest part of the moat is on the side of business development and integrations, and you need to get integrated like basically everywhere, and everyone should use your product. In this case, you get the real moat. And if the product is really like financially fragmented, then it's much harder to get that penetration on the secondary market. It's much harder to get more partnerships, integrations, etc. So I think that aggregation is very important, and this helps to create better moat for the product. And compared to LRTs, it's a bit different, because from LRT perspective, like there is at least one more dimension, because with LRTs and restaking, we have also we have dimension of node operators, we have dimension of liquidity providers. That's what LSTs have as well. But from LRT's perspective and restaking, we also have the shared security networks. And it's a huge set of networks that will be growing. And that's another dimension that adds the layer of risk management. That's why there is more fragmentation there. But also at the same time, we can make the aggregation on top of those risk profiles. And that's what also helps later to get more penetration on the secondary market and get the same network effect. And also get better moat.
My thinking here is like the like two main thoughts that I have about this. One is that there absolutely should be something that people can park their Ether in for like 100 years and like not worry about it. And this was a major like argument for making staked ETH, not like a restaking token or something, because like that's going to like last 100 years, I hope, and the withdrawal governance is getting more safer, and like more improvements to like the base protocol, it's getting more safer. You can work on making it safe, because there is like no market risks, which are the most volatile ones, right? There is just like Ether and staking, and that's like, and governance, and that's all that there is in the protocol, right? Much less risks than market can, you can actually take on market. That's one thought. And the other thought is like on restaking on LRT side, like we have a very unsettled market. Like it's not like, it's like the muddy water. It will become clear with time. It reminds me, like I grew up in a town, like in a city where there had been a very thriving like pirated CD community, and when you like went to this market, there were like hundreds of discs that said, every one of them said like 9,999 plus games in one CD, and it was all the like Super Mario clone in different colors. So that is going to change in a way that there will be consolidation. Some things will die out, but the other things will get much different, and you couldn't have like a single risk profile for every way to like Euler in an AVS and a restaking service like something. Different rewards, different risk profiles, different market considerations, different liquidity. You couldn't unite them under one umbrella, and you can't even find like a majority umbrella that like one size fits all thing. It's going to be like very diverse, more coral reef than open ocean. Like it's going to be like very diverse. And I I think the liquidity there will be mostly like primary during like what I mean is like with staking and unstaking instead of trading and like not trading, and that will make them like pretty like restaking assets, vaults, etc., assets for like risk rewards management and like tools for risk reward management rather than like liquid trading instruments, basically.
And at my point, I believe now we are in still very, very emerging things. So there is no one, luckily, slashing event. So we do not go deeper. We have no research what happens when the slashing will occur any kind of AVSs. And in this case, I believe STEs, it's like some kind of central bank interest rate in the real economy, which is totally safe, and you also generate some basic yield. And then all other AVSs, EverTs, which has some risk profile, should generate more and more additional yield. And with growth of this ecosystem, when we start build new stuff on AVSs like, I don't know, AI, different ZK computation, etc., all of them may be sometimes grouped, and of course, people regarding to the slashing history, etc., would ask a different premium, but still, on the base, we will have LST like StakeEs, which also have some kind of base rate for the whole system, because as we know, Ethereum works very well, and there is no many risk things regarding to staking.
People all like there is also like a very common meme that like staking rate is like staking rewards are like a risk-free yield or like some treasury yield. I think that like it makes it easy to understand to like TradFi folks or like non-very sophisticated folks. I think the more apt comparison and like more true to nature is like it's like minimum wage mostly. Like you do the work, you get the rewards. Like if you don't do the work, you don't get the rewards. It's not like you have to do work or like at least ask someone to do it. And it's like there is no sense in doing like work for less. It's no sense to put in your either to like any significant amount of risk for less rewards than staking. That is true. But it also doesn't mean that like there isn't more lucrative things or you can't do something better with your like time and capital if you are more like have different skills or capabilities or like stuff like that. So it's more of a like minimum wage for your either.
Yeah, the same like in a bank here, there's a basic fee, basic interest rate.
Yeah, I would also say that like as the market's getting more mature, then like more sophisticated players are coming, and they're getting ready to manage the risks. They're getting ready to take more risks and to evaluate how different systems works, and that's the case for restaking basically.
Yeah, but like in the end, to be able to compete in this industry, then people will be more and more risk on, right? Like because that's the only way of growth basically. Like either it's you print a bunch of incentives, which this is the thing we're seeing like right now with the LRTs. Like the actual usage is like very slim in terms of like the AVS side. And but if like people are actually going to use these things, then the ones that are most risk on, those will be the ones most used and like most likely to blow up, and like take like half of DeFi with them, right?
Yes, but it's the thing about that there is not that much real use, like you say, because there is no slashing live. And as soon as there will be slashing, then it will make sense to launch production-ready systems. And then there will be real utilization, there will be real rewards. So this is coming really soon.
Yeah, and at the same time, you should take into account, we will have the same problem like with unit economy. It also will depend how much you should pay for this shared security and how much you can charge end users for such kind of utility. So literally what is good that the whole system will be tried to optimize as a risk reduction. At the end, we will really have a very good stimulus for all developers to build things which never be slashed very well proven, like today we have on Ethereum node. So very good example of excellent software. I was really appreciate the date when we switched to proof of stake. I just checked, it was like by clock, boom, and we are on proof of stake. Nothing was changed because the software was written so quality, so great, and if we can create AVSs with lower risk, it make accessible and users are willing to pay. If it will be like a lot of mistakes, of course the price will be so high, and the unit economy could not be really how to say, meet users' prices and the real costs.
I would say that I agree and not agree at the same time.
Okay.
So, because I think that if you build only systems where there are almost no risk of slashing, then there will be no rewards. Because to get rewards, you need to get the risk. And we also shouldn't forget that there can be much more broad use cases that have to have slashing. Like we mostly think about some kind of consensus mechanisms when we speak about restaking. But at the same time, there are lots of other more insurance-like use cases with different things that's like you can insure through restaking some parts of your systems, like you can control the risks of PEG with this insurance. You can control some other risks in different systems. And in this case, like the risk and reward profile will be completely different.
Yeah, but please guys, do not add special bugs to make more risk and profits for staking and LRC, as Nick asked, but literally, we all time has a 51-person attack vector, which always represents the risk here, so especially even if you will be the best software ever, if people stake on your AVS, it looks like you should generate enough yield for them for usage, and in this case, I think it's also about efficiency and bug-free development.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, okay, so we expect, how many slashings do you expect to happen then in AVS? You think like there will be a lot, like there will actually be risk, or is it gonna be like, I guess in history of proof of stake and other chains, we barely see slashing, so the risk is more, seems to be more theoretical almost.
Yeah,
what's your point of that, or is it the insurance?
I think the diversity of the systems will be huge utilizing restaking, and in this case, there will be slashing, definitely. And to be honest, I'm waiting for the first significant slashing event, because in this case, this will just bring people to reality where you really need to manage the risk.
But not from Democratic Republic of Korea, yeah?
One thing to consider here is in proof of stake networks, the stake is slashed just like slashed, and it's not insurance. It's kind of a bond against misconduct. But if you misconduct, like the wrong party is not compensated. It's not insurance. When you get to insurance part, there will be a lot of slashings or like insurance events, because now you will have insurance fraud.
Yeah, but I can't agree. In Ethereum mainnet, it works like an insurance, because what I perceive, you have a system which should really perform as it's written, and because I like Ethereum, buy some ETH. If the system doesn't work as expected, you burn ETH, and when you burn ETH, it looks like the price is going up. So I get some insurance as a staker on ETH because some node operator tried to make any harm. Imagine if, for example, Solana will burn Solana each time they could not produce block in some past. I will be really happy and rich holding Solana because you burn a lot. But Ethereum works like really great watches, so no big event, no big really delayed. And in case of delay, you are compensated by holding keys. So I think it works like insurance, but of course for other cases it will be like a penalty more.
I am pretty sure that like major slashing event in Ethereum that burns a lot of it will not result in ETH going up. Like
Yeah, but it's also about the implementation of slashing, because if we speak about insurance mechanisms, then in this case, the underlying asset, it doesn't get burnt, it gets redistributed. So it's the case for getting more and more slashing events.
Right, yeah. Okay, Maybe, I guess we only have like 5 minutes left to talk a bit about a few other things. I think one core discussion or like sort of choice that projects made is around like sort of this rebasing model versus the non-rebasing model. And now obviously like STETH in itself is like rebasing, but in DeFi you mostly use WSTETH, which is a kind of like reward accruing. What are some of the downsides of that, or is that going to be the future that in DeFi we'll always use the like reward accruing asset, or is there some magic bullet to make this like both go together to have like be able to use like an ETH price feed for in DeFi even, or do we need special price feeds for these instruments?
I think like the rebasing tokens is a display thing, and fundamentally stuff for display shouldn't be on the smart contract layer. So I think it's a mistake to do rebasing tokens. Like I absolutely hate when people do it because we always end up wrapping them, which is like completely pointless, right? Like the wallet should be able to view like your actual underlying balance, and they should be able to resolve that, and they can do that through like all sorts of standards, right? Like ERC 4626, they can just like be compatible with that. But on the other hand, there's like arguments also like for tax reasons or something, right? Like in some jurisdictions, it's better to have the rebasing token. But like from an integration point of view, I think it's absolutely horrible. Like.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit hard to use in accounting because if you do not control how balance is growing in your smart contract, you can really miscalculate the total amount of users if you stake. So, but in Gearbox, we have a credit account, which just one account, one contract represents the user ownership. So there is no big difference because you can really choose wrapped or no wrapped staked ETH. It works pretty fine. So I believe it's more related, as you said, maybe for taxation or any stuff. And of course, it's built by this way. It's also pretty cool that YSTK is related to the ETH value. So it's also very good in terms of computation. But I think it's a pretty simple to implement in DeFi, so no big deal.
Yeah, I can probably just add that from LRT perspective, it's probably a bit different just in terms of implementation, because in case of LRTs, we are getting much more different types of rewards, and it's different assets, it's different kinds of mechanisms, because it can be not just tokens, it can be different types of incentives like points or something else. And it's always different methods of distribution. So it's something that adds just another layer of complexity for calculations and for the price feeds and everything.
Yeah. There are 4 engineers on the panel, right? I can tell you that everyone absolutely, like on implementation side, like absolutely hates rebasing token. But there was one exception, like the users, especially unsophisticated ones. Yeah. They love seeing the balance grow, and like wallets in theory should be able to handle that. This theory persists. Like we launched Lido and like staked Tether token, and there is like no real choice for us now these days. Like, but like even now it's like not an easy choice. But in general, like wallet should be able to handle this, but they are not. And the vault standard was not there when we started, so it wasn't even like the should wasn't even like really that pronounced then. Like people want simple interfaces. They don't want ROP token. They don't want like try to expand like this vault token that is growing inside to like your grandma. Like how much other do I get? Like why is my balance not growing? Like. This is literally that we got in questions from users on ROP staked ETH token. Like we have a ROP version, and we have like people asking us like, I staked like 2 months ago. Why is my balance the same? Yeah. This is like something that does exist. Like it's very hard to quantify how it's like part of a success, or like maybe it's like a headwind for Lido, but I can tell you that like unsophisticated users love token that show them how much header they have.
Yeah, but for grandma, you can say this is a Saint ETH why it's growing and it's magic.
Grandmas are smart.
Okay.
They are just like not very sophisticated in DeFi.
But
so.
saying ETH, it means that we believe in ETH.
Yeah, we do.
All right, cool.
The kicker it is, so.
Yeah. All right, I think that's a good note to end on. Grandmas that are not sophisticated in DeFi. Maybe we can change that. Maybe Lido is changing that. Thanks so much for joining me on this panel, and thanks Lido for hosting, and hope everyone had a great time at LidoConnect, and see you at the after party.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.